Hey guys, Jerome here, and today I'm going to be testing the Brabham BT62 in multiplayer at Golden Max in Asphalt 9. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and be sure to check out my Furum Clips channel as well as my Purple Team Discord, and I hope you enjoy these races. So I've got a bit of a funny story with this car. Usually when I test a lot of cars in the same season, at the bottom I'll start with the lowest class, then go up to the highest class. However, in the season I tested this car and against all the New Breed Rivals cars, they were ordered in terms of just max car rank and not in terms of class. So I played in the Arash before the Brabham and thought nothing of it. For the longest time, I thought the Arash was a C-class car and that the Brabham was a B-class car, just in terms of their performance, because the Arash is 600 rank lower than the Brabham, and the Brabham drives so much better. It is slower, yes. It goes 207 or 8 miles per hour versus the Arash's 216, but the rest of its stats, I would say, more than make up for that, and the Brabham is a lot more fun to drive, let's just say. The Arash was serviceable, but the Brabham is definitely more lively, and I enjoyed driving it more, and I actually drove it in a higher league, Pro League instead of Rookie League in most cases, except for these first two races, and still had some fairly good results with it. It's definitely a better car for multiplayer. In terms of where it fits in its class, the Brabham is kind of like an upgrade to the 599XX EVO, which, as many of you guys know, I really enjoy and have maxed myself fairly recently. The Brabham has better acceleration and a nitro than the 599XX EVO, about the same top speed. I think it might be exactly the same actually, and the handling is slightly lower, but it still drifts pretty well. So I think I can say pretty safely that the Brabham has a very good chance of becoming a new king of Class C on some tracks, ones that the 599XX EVO can do very well on right now. On C-Class Elite, like in Shanghai, for example, I could see this becoming a very new good contender on that track. I don't think it will beat the Aranera on most tracks, but on some I think it's likely to. Unfortunately, the Brabham had a rather difficult special event for the class that it's in. I was unable to get past the first few days. The cars required were the Arash, the Club Sport, and one other, and I just was not able to get enough to progress to the 5th day, I think it was. I actually figured that out in my last stream. Now, you could buy packs for this car, but the fact that a lot of people might not be able to progress very far in the event and then have to spend thousands and thousands on packs to start it up might deter a lot of people from actually going for this car, even though it is definitely one of the best cars of the update in terms of where it sits within its class. And that's the thing, whenever Gameloft adds cars that are ever just so slightly better than other ones that a lot of people already have maxed out, or at least at high stars, they're not going to have much of a reason to spend tokens on it. And I wouldn't recommend spending a lot of tokens on cars like that. What I usually like to do is skip most of the cars that are just extremely small upgrades to cars we already have, or which are just super expensive, or definitely ones which are just low in their class and no good at all, and wait for those few cars that Gameloft adds every so often that are actually game changers, either in their class or overall. The first one of those that I can think of was the Jesko, which completely obliterated everything else in Class S. And that's one that I had been saving up for a long time. Not that I've been saving up for that car in particular, but none of the ones before it I really was interested in spending tokens on. So I saved up 15,000 tokens for its Drive Syndicate. It didn't end up being quite enough. I would have needed a few thousand more, but that definitely helped me start it up a good amount until finally I was able to get it when it came back around by getting the keys. But the point is, if I had spent a lot of tokens on other cars that were just not as good in their classes or whatever, I'd have a bunch of cars, or maybe a couple stars, lower down in their classes, and I wouldn't have the 4-star Jesko that I have today. I probably wouldn't have my Max F1 or my Max Sheeran or other cars like that. because I specifically save tokens for those cases and don't spend a lot of tokens on many other cars. So that's definitely something that I would recommend for people to do, especially if you are free to play like myself, and you want to get the top cars in the game. Just only spend tokens on the top cars in the game in that case. And if you do that, you will have a much better chance than if you just spend a few thousand on every car that comes out just trying to unlock it. If you really want to get the top cars, don't even try to unlock every car that comes out, because you will just be burning tokens on cars that you are probably never going to need again. Right now, I'm saving up for whatever the next car coming out is that might be that kind of game-changing kind of car. No idea what it is. I haven't heard anything about the next update yet, but I will be sure to let you guys know when I do. But I've saved up around 9,000, 10,000 tokens or so, hoping to get that up to 15,000 or so before the next big car. Now, obviously, I could also spend those on upgrades to a car I already have that I want to start up, like for example, the Tuatara, or the Esco, or the Valhalla. The Valhalla would probably be one of the best ones for me, honestly, because I only have it at 4-star right now, and it would definitely be a great car for A-class elite events, as it's extremely high in its class, and I don't really expect it will be replaced anytime soon, and it's just a great car overall. But back to the Brabham, and I guess I'll give my general review about it a little bit early here. It's very good, very fun to drive, very high in its class, but not one I would still recommend spending a lot of tokens on if, and this is a big if you already have either the 599XX EVO or the Aranera Hacera maxed out, or at least at high stars. If you don't have either of those cars at all, and you have a lot of tokens saved up, this would be an okay one to go for, just because it'll be very good for C-Class Elite and other just C-Class events such as that. But aside from all that, just talking about the car's performance, I was pretty impressed by it. It was one of the most enjoyable cars that I drove in the season, and as you can see in some of these races, I was able to beat some of the best cars in the season, like the Tuchek and the Vision, each of which I beat 2 of in the previous race. Which is honestly the complete opposite of what I would have expected compared to some of the other races that I played in, because, I mean, these are longer since they're 2 laps than some of the other races I played in the video, and yet I was still able to somehow come in first there. And in that race, I actually made it to Elite League from Pro League. Now, I think one big reason for this is that this track in particular, it's just a loop. It's a little circle of a track, basically, and so these Tucheks and Visions don't really get much time to get up to their super high top speed, which is probably one of the big reasons why I was actually able to do so well against them. If this was like Himalayas or something, no way, I would not be in second place, or third place now at this point. But regardless, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt, Forza, Minecraft, and other games content, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!